Hey yo, what is up? New tank has entered super test, and this is the CS-52S, and it sounds like a CS-52, but this one is slightly different. It is still a Polish tank, but if you notice on the turret, this is a CS-63 turret on a CS-52 body. Now, not gonna lie, this is pretty interesting, and it actually kind of looks sexy, if I may say so. The body very slim, very low profile, and of course the CS-63 is a small tank by itself and also has a really a low profile turret with, you know, shaped angled frontal armor. So visually, this is a pretty interesting looking, sexy looking tank, kind of like a combination of it looks like it has an LT-432 hull. So if you compare this with an LT-432 body shape, you can see the kind of angles and the sharpness of the you know, the hull angle. It looks sharp. It looks like the top armor of this tank can bounce a lot of stuff. It looks like there is a possibility that this tank is going to have some kind of trollish kind of armor. So let's take a look at this tank because it is a CS-52 with a CS-63 turret. Yes, this tank is going to have a dual mode. It's going to have a fast mode and it's going to have a slow mode. So it's going to have you're going to have to hit the X key to switch from fast mode to slow mode. And even this is going to be kind of special because from standard mode to fast mode, it's going to take you 2.5 seconds to get into fast mode, which is kind of weird. You know, not like the French tanks, which can switch from slow mode to fast mode instantly on the move. This thing, I suppose, is going to have to be stationary when you switch from slow mode to fast mode, 2.5 seconds, and then from fast mode switching back to slow mode, it takes 1.5 seconds. So there's going to be a slight pause. It takes time for you to switch to fast mode and slow mode. It has 1350 hit points, 710 horsepower on standard mode. It has 1150 horsepower when it's in fast mode, so significant bump in horsepower. The power to weight ratio as well in stock mode is 17.76, which is pretty good, to be honest with you. Not as fast as a T-44-100, which is 20 plus power to weight ratio. And if I compare this to a AMX AP prototype, AMX 30 AP prototype, it has 24.29 power to weight ratio, and the standard CS has a 19.69 power to weight ratio. So still pretty good power to weight ratio, still pretty you know, fast agile tank even in standard mode. But in fast mode, 28.77 power to weight ratio, incredible power to weight ratio. The top speed as well, 50 kilometers an hour in standard mode, but in fast mode 70 kilometers an hour in fast mode, 25 in reverse in fast mode. In standard mode, 17 kilometers an hour in reverse. Still pretty good mobility, not as mobile as a standard CS-52 or a T-44-100 or an AMX AP prototype in standard mode, but in fast mode it will blow them all away. The damage on the standard shells and premium shells is 250, so not like CS-52, which has 320 alpha on the you know, AP or the premium shells. The 250 damage is more like a T-44-100 The AMX prototype has 300 damage, which is why I'm comparing this tank with the CS-52, the T-44-100 and the AMX-30 prototype. This CS-52S is more like a mashup of these three tanks, is how I feel like. The dispersion on this tank is well, before we go on the dispersion, we talk about the penetration first. Only 190 penetration on the stock shells, which is pretty terrible. 190 penetration is, well, it's not terrible. It is a T-44-100 penetration on stock shells, which is 190 penetration, but 190 penetration in today's Tier 8 is not really good, which means they're gonna have to buff this, or you know, a lot of people are just going to shoot premium shells in this tank, even though it's sexy, but it's not going to perform that great because 190 penetration is on the low end in today's Tier 8 medium tanks. In fact, 190 penetration means not a lot of people are going to play it in front lines because it's going to cost too much money firing premium shells all the time. So they're going to have to buff this standard penetration from 190 to at least 208 or 212, like the Progetto, 218, something like that, for it to make it viable, to make it competitive in stock shell penetration. The premium shell penetration, however, is 290, which is really good. 290 penetration premium is really good. It is going to be very competitive. It's going to be one of the best, in fact. But the next thing I want to talk about is the dispersion, which is 0.37, which is pretty bad, to be honest with you. The CS-52 has 0.35 and is pretty acceptable. Dispersion for 0.35 on the CS-52 makes it competitive, makes it playable. On the T-44-100 is 0.34 dispersion. On the AMX AP prototype is 0.35 dispersion. 0.37 dispersion just isn't going to cut it, and one of the reasons why it's not going to cut it is because you have the 190 penetration, 0.37 dispersion, and the next thing is the aim time is 2.59, is really long for an aim time, really poor aim time, 2.59 seconds, because CS-52 LIS is 2.21 seconds, T-44-100 is 1.92 seconds. Even the AMX AP prototype, which isn't that great of an aim time, is 2.4 seconds aim time. And 2.59 is just not acceptable. And if you are in speed mode is going to be even worse, because the speed mode on this puppy is going to be 3.36 seconds. Basically, you're not going to hit anything in speed mode unless you are driving face to face, you are circle jerking another poor heavy tank or something like that. That's the only time the speed mode is going to be useful, shooting at your enemies. It's going to work almost exactly like a CS-63, because the speed mode is going to have terrible accuracy, because the dispersion on the move is going to be terrible as well. The moving dispersion on standard mode is 0.14, which is really pretty acceptable. 0.14 is exactly the same as the CS-52 on standard mode, the moving dispersion, so that is pretty good compared to a T-44-100. T-44-100 has 0.12 dispersion on the move, and the AMX AP prototype 0.16 dispersion, which isn't very good. But on the move, on fast mode, the CS-52S is 0.30 dispersion, so a heavy penalty, moving dispersion penalty on the move, 0.30. You're not going to hit anything. The gun is going to be exactly like it's going to function exactly like a CS-63. On the move, it's not going to hit shit. You're not gonna snipe for shit. You need to be really close, circle jerking someone and using your close proximity to avoid the tanks and to destroy your enemy that way. Yeah, so this tank is basically a CS-63 in Tier 8. However, the standard mode with the poor 0.35 dispersion and 2.21 the 2.59 seconds aim time and 0.37 dispersion on standard mode makes it pretty bad. They need to improve it slightly to at least same levels as the CS-52, I feel, before this tank is going to have any interests for me. So that is what I have for you today in the CS-52S, which is already in super test. It is very sexy, not gonna lie. I like the hull shape, and I like that they put the CS-63 turret into the CS-52 body. Makes it look super sleek and sexy. If you look from the back, it looks like a Lincoln. It looks like, damn, this thing looks really good. But I feel like I'm not going to be sold just on the looks. I'm not going to be a sucker just for the looks. I need to have a little bit of competitiveness. The stock shell penetration 190 is not going to cut it. They've got to bring it up to 208 or 212, and then they've got to improve that aim time and that dispersion, at least bring it down to 2.21 seconds aim time, and then dispersion maybe 0.35 standard dispersion before I'm going to be very excited about this tank. In the meantime, I'm just going to wait for them to at least upgrade it slightly. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. Let's see what happens. Thanks for watching the video. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.